let me tell you what the secrets of the rich are. They're not a secret. They do what you've been doing. They invest in things they understand. If you don't understand it, don't put money in it. Don't put money in something because it sounds cool and some goob that you think is cool is telling you to do it or has done it himself. This is how people lose their money with Bernie Madoff. They got recommended by a friend to get in something cool. There was an inside deal that no one knew about. It was a secret. It was sophisticated, and everybody doesn't know about it, and this is how the rich do it. It's all behind the curtain. It's just not. I was with a guy the other day who is worth about $200 million, and you know what he's invested his money in? Farmland. He's a rancher. It's what he knows. I said, you don't have any money in mutual funds? Nope. Don't like that stuff. Don't understand it. Not putting money in it. Well, that's not sophisticated, Dave, said a guy who has a tenth the net worth or a fourth the net worth or 1/1,000,000th the net worth that guy has. He's got $200 million. What you have is an opinion. Put money in stuff you understand and you're comfortable with. If that's all you ever do, you're going to be fine as far as the investing side. I have 3 investments. That's all I have. And I'm fairly knowledgeable about the investment world. I have 3. My business, paid for real estate with no mortgages, and mutual funds. I don't play single stocks, I don't screw around with gold, I don't mess with Bitcoin, and I don't need your stock tip from your broke golfing buddy with an opinion. You know, you missed out on getting in on this deal, Ramsey. Didn't miss a thing. I'll set my net worth down beside yours while you mouth off. Didn't miss a thing. You didn't either. Don't try to get... This is not time to get cool. Cool didn't get you here. Cool won't take you there. And, you know, don't try to follow these cool goobs around because I got to tell you, man, this crap, I see these things. Come to the seminar and learn how to do a limited family partnership with a double backflip trust. And, I just made that up. But it's crap like that. And people get all tangled up in stuff and they lose their butts. Don't do it. Don't do it. So it's real simple, Sean. Invest in things you understand. It's okay to use the KISS principle. I do. I use the keep it simple, stupid principle. I keep mine very simple, very clean. And if I don't have the money, I can't buy it. Wow, it's insightful. It's primitive. How do you get by on that with hundreds of millions of dollars of net worth? That's how I struggle through. So seriously. Just be calm. Now, when you do get to baby step 7, what you do want to make sure you're doing continuously and systematically is you want to be keeping your spiritual life in balance because baby step 7 is where wealth can take over your spiritual life and you can put an idol in your life and you can start worshiping dollars instead of God, and that's a dumb idea. It's a good way to lose your money because God will take it because he loves you so much he doesn't want you worshiping the wrong stuff. So, how do you do that? You keep a good balance between 3 things when you're in baby step 7. You're always investing. You're always being outrageously generous. And I mean outrageously generous. You're in baby step 7. You need to be giving more money away than you used to make in a year. Outrageous generosity. And you need to be enjoying some of the money. Time to take mama on a cruise, tightwad. Time to buy a decent car. You've driven like no one else. Now it's time to drive like no one else. I drove crap cars. One the predominant color on it was Bondo. And now you know what I drive? Any freaking thing I want. That's what I drive now. And if some of you liberals don't like that, well, toughies. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm a capitalist pig, and I'm proud of it. So that's how this works, guys. And I give more in a month than I used to make in 2 years. But that's none of your business. The only reason I tell you that is it's a model for you to say, outrageous generosity. Our Ramsey Family Foundation is outrageously generous. It's so generous it has a full-time person running it, named Denise Whittemore, my daughter. It takes a full-time person to keep up with the generosity. Think about it. That's where you can get to, people. That's where I want you to get to. You can live like no one else so that later you can live and give like no one else. And then when you go buy a car, it's a small percentage of your world. These people call me up and their car is 60% of their take-home pay and 100% of their net worth. You are never going to get rich doing that. Your car needs to be a small percentage of your net worth and a small percentage of your take-home pay. Last couple making $750,000, they can afford to drive very, very expensive cars and lose the value on them and still get ahead financially. But if you make $75,000 a year, you can't drive that same car and be anything but broke. She can afford a BMW. Anything in the entire BMW line making that kind of money. Brand new, write a check for it. And it won't break that family because they make really good money and they got a $3 million net worth. But if you're sitting there with two nickels to rub together, don't you go down there and fleece a stupid Beamer. That's dumber than a rock. You're acting like something you're not. So you just work your way through this process. Always be giving. Always be enjoying a percentage of your money. And always be investing a percentage of your money. And what I tell folks to do once you get to this point is allocate percentages, like I just said. Basically, I'm an evangelical Christian, and I get taxed at 40%, and then I give 10%. So that's 50%. I give 10% just for my local church. That's my tithe. Okay, so I've only got 50 cents on every dollar after those two things to work with. Out of that 50 cents, then, I allocate a small percentage to consumption and enjoyment, and then the rest of it to two big chunks, one to investing and one percentage. And I'm not going to give you my percentages because they don't matter. You make up your own. Okay? But you take out that 50% that's left over, you put some little percentage. It doesn't take much because you make good money, you got good money, to enjoy. Go on a nice cruise, go on that trip, bucket list trip you've always wanted to do, buy that car you've always wanted to buy, pay off your mama's house. I don't know what it is you want to do, right? Then you take the generosity piece as a big chunk and the investing piece as a big chunk. Ever done anything really stupid with money? If you have, that makes you over 12. Almost all of us have. My wife Sharon and I started off with nothing when we first got married. Most people do, I think. And I started buying and selling real estate, and I got rich. By the time I was 26, I was a millionaire, making $250,000 a year. But I had done stupid. I borrowed too much money. Bank got sold to another bank, and some guy in another city looked down and said, there's a kid 26 years old, owes us millions of dollars. Let's limit this relationship, which is banker talk for ruin his life. They called our notes, and we spent the next 2.5 years of our life losing everything we owned. We were sued, we were foreclosed on, and finally we were bankrupt. I do everything backwards. I met God on the way up when I was becoming wealthy. Most people meet him at a point of crisis. I met him on the way up. I got to know him on the way down. So, 28 years old with a brand new baby, a toddler, and a marriage hanging on by a thread, we got the opportunity to start from zero again. Only I had to figure out how money works. Not what your broke brother-in-law's opinion is. How money really works. And so, as a Christian, I decided I would figure out what the Bible has to say about money. And I talked to old rich people. I didn't want to talk to young rich people. I'd been him. I didn't want his opinion. In business, we study successful people in a certain area, and then we emulate or copy what they're doing in order to have the same success they've had. It's called best practices. It's why you hire a personal trainer. They have abs and you have a keg. They know something you don't know. They do something you don't do. And so we learn from someone that knows something we don't know because they've actually done it, not have a theory about it. See, I don't really care what your theories are about money if you're broke. You're just arrogant and stupid. You live in your mother's basement and you write a money blog. Nobody cares what you think. Dave Ramsey doesn't understand the power of credit cards. Oh, my God. Really, after 30 years, you're still writing that stuff? You've got to be kidding me. So we learned how to handle money. And we learned that money really is fairly simple. It's just hard to do. There's only about 4 or 5 things you got to do to win. You have to live on less than you make. You need to live on a plan, a written budget. You need to get out of debt, because when you don't have any payments, you have money. Your most powerful wealth-building tool is your income. You've got to learn to save and invest. And you can't do that when you're in debt, don't have a plan, and don't live on less than you make. You know why people don't put money in their 401k and their Roth IRAs? Because they don't have any money, because it's all going out the door in stupid butt car payments, and Sally Mae's got her own bedroom at your house because she's lived there for so long. This is pretty simple stuff, guys. It may be primitive. It may be easy to understand, but it is very hard to do because it has everything to do with you changing your heart and the way you function and the way you live your life, and you live like no one else so that later you can live and give like no one else, because that's the last one. There's a high correlation in all of our data between people who win with money and those that are generous. Generosity is a key element in people who end up winning with money. And it's pretty simple. It's because generous people are attractive, selfish people aren't. They're ugly. Attractive people seem to get more opportunities in life. Would you agree? We all want to help someone who's attractive. I'm not talking about physically attractive, but they're likable. The person that holds the door for you versus the one that cusses you for doing it. The one that helps you pick up your groceries when they're rolling around the parking lot because the bottom fell out of your bag. That's a generous person. They might be a person who gives you some money because you're broke. You don't have money for food, or you're going through a hard time and they help you out. There's a high correlation between generosity and financial success. And it's not that financial success allows people to be generous. It's that generosity causes people to be people that are lovable, likable, more than selfish people. And they have a tendency to prosper. It's a pretty easy formula, really, if you think about it. And when you're out of debt, Dave Ramsey doesn't understand the power of credit cards. Yeah, I do. I've watched the power of credit cards destroy people's lives for years. I absolutely understand the power of a credit card. And I've watched stupid people write clickbait articles about me and other people saying how to use a credit card, the proper way to use a credit card, and credit cards are good for reward points. Yeah, I've never met a millionaire that said, Dave, I made all my money with airline miles. Dave, those Discover points put me over the top. That was my breakthrough financial moment. Never met a single millionaire, and I've met with thousands of millionaires. Never met one that said that. They all say, I can't believe people fall for credit card debt. I can't believe people continue to use these stupid credit cards. It's like half the population is dying of lung cancer, and everybody's standing around going, well, I guess cigarettes kill you. Well, no kidding. Unbelievable. The credit card is the cigarette of the financial world. It used to be cool. Everybody thought it was neat, and people are catching on that it ain't a good idea. Hello. This is not rocket science, people. Live on less than you make. Becky's on Twitter. Do you literally mean beans and rice, or is that an exaggeration to make a point? Becky, you've got to be kidding me. Do you really think people doing this plan only live on beans and rice? I mean, really? Twits on Twitter. Really? Of course not. It means lower your stupid butt lifestyle and quit spending money like you're in Congress is what it means. It means quit going out to eat. You're broke. It means quit buying the most expensive thing at Whole Paycheck over there and get your dadgum coupons out and have a meal plan and actually cook from scratch because it saves money. And don't go on vacation. You're broke. And don't buy that. You're broke. You have clothes in your closet. Stay out of the mall. Live on less than you make. That's what it means. You have to live on less than you make in order to pay off debt, in order to save and invest. You can't spend more than you make and end up anywhere but in bankruptcy court. And people are doing it every day, everywhere. See, this stuff we teach here, folks, is not hard to understand. It's very hard to actually go and do it. Today's question is from Ricky in Washington. He says, David, just gone through my second beater car. Tired of being on a first-name basis with the AAA tow truck driver. I'm out of debt. I have my emergency fund saved, and I have the money to get a little nicer car. Having a hard time parting with it because I worked so hard to save it. Can you talk a bit about the struggle people have with spending money, even when they have it to spend? Yeah, it's so hard to finally get some in savings. It's hard to release it, especially if you're wired as a saver. Now, I'm wired as a spender. My wife is wired as a saver. Usually we fall in one of two categories. I think you're wired as a saver. She gets great comfort from having that pile of money, more than she would get great comfort from having a reliable car. Me, I'd rather have a reliable car. Past the emergency fund. You're at this is an emotional thing at this point. It's not a financial thing. I have the money, but I have trouble releasing it. And so what that says is you're just getting some, it's a normal thing, and it's not a bad thing, but it just says I get security from that extra money beyond my emergency fund. And I'll tell you this, I think it's something we all have to work at, one of our money skills. There's really three basic money skills that you have. Spending properly, reasonably. Learning to enjoy money falls under spending. Learning to enjoy life with your money, which is kind of what your question's about. The second one's saving. You got to learn to save money for emergencies, for college, for retirement, to change your family tree, to build wealth. You got to learn to invest. You got to learn to ride the investment waves like we've had in the stock market in the last couple of weeks. Right? And giving. The power of generosity to completely change you when you learn to give as the natural rhythm of your life. It changes everything. So, giving, saving, and spending. Everyone has at least one of those that they struggle with. Mine is saving. I'm a spender. It's no trouble for me to enjoy money. It's also no trouble for me to give money. A lot of spenders, it's easy for them to be generous. Because the release of money doesn't bother us as much as it does a saver. But I'm weak at saving. And that's why God makes me teach this every day. I'm no longer weak at saving, but it wasn't my natural default. I had to intellectually decide to have an act of my will to save and invest. And really what drove me to do that as a spender-giver is that I would have more to spend and give if I built more wealth. I can spend more and give more. And that's my only reason for saving. It's not because I just love saving money. I still don't to this day. It's not. So you're on the other side of this, Ricky, is what we're saying. You don't enjoy spending. We don't know about giving. You didn't address that in your thing. Sometimes I can get spenders or savers like this to turn loose of their money first by increasing their giving. And then that kind of gives them permission to also enjoy the money themselves. But it would be a shame to save and work and not enjoy some of your money. And one of the things you should enjoy is a reliable vehicle. And you don't have a reliable vehicle. You've been doing beaters. And so, you need to go buy the car. You already knew that. You weren't asking about that, but you already knew that. But maybe also take a little bit of that money and give it. Find some place to be generous at your church, or find a couple that's struggling, or a single mom that didn't pay her light bill for a year, or whatever. But find something to do, because there's something about giving that kind of then gives you permission down inside your spirit to also enjoy money. Because money's fun if you got some. You ought to enjoy it. You ought to enjoy some nice things. Now, if that's all you do and you don't save and you don't give, then you're just a shallow twerp, right? But, to assume that just because someone has the ability to enjoy money means that they're greedy or shallow, that's just bogus. And the way you can tell is what percentage of their financial situation is going towards stuff for them. And if all the money you make is going to buy you crap, then you're out of balance, But if you're giving a percentage of your income, and you're investing a good percentage of your income, and you're enjoying some of your income on lifestyle purchases, travel, cars, clothes, whatever it is, then that's in balance once you're at baby step 3 and beyond. And that's where Ricky is. But it's a really good question, Ricky. It's a good question for me to stop and just kind of rant on or vent on for a second here, teach on for a second. Because sometimes people think, well, no one should ever have a car like that. What would anyone need a house like that for? Now, I've got a friend that's worth about $3 billion. Now, a billion is 1,000 million. He has 3,000 million. He has 3,000 million. He spent $6 million on his house. And people sent him hate mail. No one should ever have a house like that. His house, as a percentage of his net worth and his income, is like you going through the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A and buying a biscuit. It didn't affect his life one iota to spend $6 million on a house. As a matter of fact, that's a very conservative house for someone who has $3 billion.